New Japan Pro Wrestling has just announced Wrestle Grand Slam, which is going to be their first show in the Tokyo Dome, not in January. So we're getting three technically, Tokyo Dome shows this year. We'll talk about that in a bit. Nxt Takeover is possibly going to be another 2-night event. WWE bans leg slapping for some reason. I also review Stardom's All-Star Dream Cinderella and Aew Revolution. We're talking about that all here and more on this, the 37th edition of the Chill Spill podcast. The S is silent, by the way. Yo, what is going on, guys? It is your boy Tyler Mask, aka Tyler Suplex, aka Suplex, that's 2 O's, Sooplex, that's my name on TikTok, by the way, and Tyler-kun Williams, aka the one who lived. And welcome back to the 37th edition of the Chill Spill podcast, and that is pill spelled with an S, but it's silent, much like all the kicks we're going to start hearing in WWE now that we can't do leg slapping. I mean, after all, if you can't slap your leg, how are you supposed to hear the impact of the kicks? We'll talk about that in just a few moments. So guys, welcome back once again to the Chill Spill podcast. If you're listening to this on Patreon, big shout out to you, Mason Goldberg, Liam version 1, and none other than NJPW Fan 10. If you're listening to this on YouTube, the Tyler-kun Williams channel, thank you for listening to this on the premiere version. I appreciate you for coming through to the stream. And if you're listening to this on playback on the Tyler Mask YouTube channel, thank you all for coming through to there. And if you're listening to this on Podbean, you're very special, because there's not many listeners on Podbean right now, but we'll grow. I promise you. Guys, it's not going to be the biggest or maybe the longest episode of the Chill Spill podcast, because there's not only but so much news to discuss and a lot of reviews to do. We're doing 2 reviews today, so it might end up going an hour. It may not. I might try to shoot for a shorter episode today just to see how it goes. I mean, not how it goes, but see how the analytics perform, because lately I've been doing a lot longer episodes of the Chill Spill podcast, and the watch time is good. But I want to see how it performs if it's a shorter episode. So I'm going to try to aim for under an hour and see what happens there. But before we step into Stardom and AEW, let's talk about some New Japan Pro Wrestling. So if you guys watched my latest YouTube video, I went into why I given up on the current product of New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm not going to go too deep into all of my points, so I advertise that you guys go watch that video. It is up on my YouTube channel. It's probably like the 3rd or 4th video. It's called Why I've Virtually Given Up on New Japan. Now, in that video, I had a lot of comments from people saying, "Oh, don't give up. They're going through a rut right now, and you know what I mean. Don't give up." Like, I had so many people like tell me, "You know what? That's fine." There's obviously New Japan fans out there who don't want me to stop watching New Japan because I'm a source for them, for reviews and whatnot. But to those people, I must ask you, exactly why do you want me to continue watching something that I'm not enjoying? Like, I understand it is for your amusement. I mean, you're getting the content that you want. But if I'm not enjoying the product, like, why would you want me to watch it, then do a review that's not enthusiastic, that's probably not going to be positive? Like, why exactly would you want me to review that? That's why that's why I'm not talking about it right now. So I just wanted to address this now. It's like, there's a lot of things wrong with New Japan. And I ain't going to sit here and act like there's not a lot of things, or a few things, not a lot of things. There's not a few things wrong with AEW. There's a couple things in AEW that I don't like. The booking of Cody Rhodes. I'm not really a big fan of Kenny Omega's reign as AEW champion. I'm not a big fan of the women's division. But there's a lot more that I like about AEW right now, and that's why I'm still watching Dynamite each and every single week. And I just paid $50 for AEW Revolution. With New Japan Pro Wrestling, which I pay $9.99 for every single month, and I have been for the last 3 years, by the way. With New Japan Pro Wrestling, it's kind of like the shows. It's a weird thing to describe to a wrestling fan who may not watch New Japan as much as I used to. But New Japan Pro Wrestling runs Road 2 shows, right? They do these Road 2 shows maybe 3 to 4 times a week. maybe twice a week if I'm lucky. But they do Road 2 shows because they're a touring company. And these Road 2 shows you can say are similar to like an AEW Dynamite or a Monday Night Raw or a SmackDown. Except they're really not, because these shows often rerun the same matches every single day, every single week. If you're watching a Road 2 show, unless it's a championship match happening, there's no reason to watch it. You're not going to see any 5-star matches. You're not going to see any really deep storyline development. It's all reserved for the bigger shows in the tournaments. So yes, when it's time for a tournament, yes, I'll start watching. I'll do reviews. But this time around, it is New Japan Cup. New Japan Cup. And I'm not watching. I literally have not seen a single match from New Japan Cup. I haven't even seen the Okada Shingo match, which people were praising about, saying, oh, Okada Shingo was so amazing, which I'm sure to a lot of you who have been watching these Okada matches lately and see no reason to complain about it. Yeah, it probably was good. But for me, I mean, I'm looking at a cage match right now, and the match is at 8.92, which is pretty good for 120 votes. But the product overall has just turned me off. It's just turned me off. It's not just Okada. It's Evil, Bullet Club. It's so many other factors than just that one person. So yes, as I said in the video, I'm willing to give New Japan another chance, as I do with WWE all the time. When they are producing good content, like they're doing right now, Bobby Lashley's the WWE champion. I'm not fully invested. I'm not going to start watching Raw every single week, but I'm watching the YouTube clips. You know what I mean? I'm checking out SmackDown to see what's going on with Apollo Crews. I'm checking out some of the things that I like, but I'm not fully invested in the product anymore. Now, WWE is a case over a longer period of time. With WWE, I stopped watching that product 5 years ago, so it's extremely hard for me to get into it. With New Japan Pro Wrestling, I literally just stopped watching it like a few weeks ago. If you really want to talk about when I really started to have issues with it, it was a few months ago. So I'm still invested in New Japan. I just need a break from New Japan. It's me and New Japan are like in a relationship. I need a break from the relationship right now. We're just taking some time apart. But don't worry. We still love each other very much. Except for TBSI. Fuck TBSI. Anyway, speaking about New Japan Pro Wrestling, I did also talk about earlier on the channel, Okada actually has 2 slip discs in his lower back, and that is why he has been, as I say in my previous videos, dragging his feet. Which I did apologize in the video. I mean, if Okada's been injured this whole time, and that's why he's been, not performing as he should, then you know what? I'm a man of my word. You know what? Okada, I'll give him to that. He is a trooper for working through it. But at the end of the day, Okada's been working through 2 slip discs for how long now? Because these matches that he's been having have not been good since like February 2020. So if he's been working with a slip disc for a whole year, that's bad. That's really, really bad. I hope he gets time off, so that way we can get back to the Okada of old, the 2017-2018 Okada that put New Japan on the map. For all the newer fans like me, I still have to call myself a newer fan, because there's fans who've been watching longer than me. I didn't start watching until Wrestle Kingdom 12, so I still qualify as a newer fan, even though people look at me as like, oh, like, the New Japan YouTuber. I'm still like a newer fan. I mean, I'm not a new fan. I know about the product, how it's booked, all that shit, but I'm still newer to the product. I would like to see Okada go back to his old ways, but, we're not going to get that until he's actually 100% and mentally 100%, because he's still in the whole, oh, but crowds are back. You know what, Okada? The crowds are back now. And in Japan, I just watched their latest show, not the New Japan Cup, but what was before New Japan Cup? New Beginning in Hiroshima. They had a damn near full arena for that show. So yeah, crowds are back. They just can't make noise. So I'm tired of Okada making that excuse. If it's just that he's injured, you know what? Heal up. But if it's that and the crowd's not being back, bitch, shut up. Anyway, so getting outside of Okada now. New Japan Pro Wrestling also had a big announcement on their latest show, the New Beginning in Hiroshima Night 2 show. If I'm correct, it was Hiroshima, or was it Nagoya? I think it was Hiroshima Night 2. So they had a big announcement for that show, which was they're going to be having two big events coming up this May, coming up in 2 months. And with the success of Summer Struggle in Jingu Stadium last year, you guys know the big August show that happened. That was main evented by Naito and Evils. What was it? Their second? I think it might have been their second match. So they announced Wrestle Grand Slam, a 2-night event. The first night taking place on May 15th, which will be in Yokohama Stadium. Stardom, I believe, is having a show in Yokohama. I don't know if it's going to be at Yokohama Stadium, but they're having a show in Yokohama. It's going to be a pretty big one. Let me see. How big is the Yokohama Stadium? How big is Yokohama Stadium? Another baseball stadium, which will fit a capacity of 20,000 seats for football and 34,000 for baseball. Now, assuming they're going to be at a capacity of maybe 10,000, that's still a big show. But then get this. The second event will be happening on May 29th. And this will be live from the Tokyo Dome. Yes, you heard me right. It will be live from the Tokyo Dome. The same Tokyo Dome that's been holding annual Wrestle Kingdom events for New Japan Pro Wrestling for the last 15 years. This will be the first Tokyo Dome event outside of the January 4th shows in 16 years, since 2005. It's a pretty big deal. It's a very big deal for New Japan to be running a show in the Tokyo Dome outside of Wrestle Kingdom. It's been unheard of for such a long time. Not many people think we're going to get that, but New Japan must be doing very good business right now. They must be doing very well for themselves. And I guess, like I said, the success of Summer Struggle last year in Jingu Stadium definitely helped out. But to land the Tokyo Dome in May after just having one in January, that's pretty big for them. So kudos to New Japan. Wrestle Grand Slam should be a very big show. Going to the Tokyo Dome, I don't expect them to fill up the seats, especially given that this isn't even one of their biggest shows of the year. They're going to have to make it seem like one of the biggest shows of the year. You know what I'm going to compare this to? I'm going to compare this to how WWE does their Saudi Arabia shows. You guys know how they do their Super Showdown shows. I'm going to compare it to that. And that they're going to have to come up with like some big match or some big storyline or have some big star return to kind of sell out those seats. Now, I don't know who that's going to be. This is me just assuming. I don't know who that's going to be. I don't know what match that could be. I'm hearing a lot of matches thrown out there right now. A lot of people are saying, oh, Okada versus Ibushi, which I'm hoping that's not what they're going to do. But you know what? Now that it's been floated out there, I can definitely see it as a possibility. With Ibushi still being the champion, there's also the possibility people have been throwing out there, oh, will they do Omega versus Ibushi at the Dome? That's very possible as well. I think it's a little less likely though, but it's very possible. But that's a big deal. I'm probably going to watch that show. More than likely going to watch that show because, like I said, I'm not completely written off from New Japan right now. I'm just taking a break from them. Probably going to watch that show. I'm going to be happy to keep my eye on New Japan going into that. I'll be watching Sakura Genesis when that comes up at the end of the month. I just am not watching New Japan Cup right now. So that's where we're at with New Japan. Getting into some WWE real quick. NXT TakeOver is possibly running 2 nights prior to WrestleMania. Reported by PW Insider, WWE is mulling over a decision on holding a 2-night NXT TakeOver on Wednesday and Thursday prior to this year's WrestleMania. If the plan comes to be, that would give WWE 6 straight days of programming between Wednesday and Monday with 2 nights of NXT, SmackDown, 2 nights of WrestleMania, and Monday. Oh my God, I just thought about that. So there'll probably be nothing on Tuesday. So Wednesday NXT, Thursday NXT, Friday SmackDown, WrestleMania on Saturday and Sunday, and then Monday Night Raw again. And then they're supposed to be having NXTs on Tuesdays starting April the 12th, which would mean there will be another show that Tuesday. April the 13th, that Tuesday. So there's going to be 7 days of WWE programming. Talk about fatigue, bro. Talk about fatigue. And you know, I'm always a big fan of WrestleMania weekend. Hell, I might be even going to WrestleMania weekend. I'm not even too sure about that right now. But I might even be going. To Tampa for like a show or two. Yes, I know. I'm going to a show. You can go ahead and call me a hypocrite if you want. I don't care. I'm getting a shot. I'm getting a vaccine shot, so leave me alone. Anyway, there's going to be a lot of programming, but Bro, talk about fatigue. I mean, NXT, SmackDown, WrestleMania, two-night WrestleMania, and Raw. You gotta be a humongous wrestling fan with no time of your day to watch all that shit. I mean, if I do end up going to Tampa for WrestleMania weekend, the one show right now I have my eye on attending is Joey Janelle Spring Break. That's literally the only show as of right now that I plan on attending to. I know WrestleMania. WWE just announced that WrestleMania is going to be having their tickets going on sale for WrestleMania this coming Tuesday, but I'm not even guaranteed I'm going to that. Because, you know, going to Joey Janelle Spring Break, that's an outside venue, social distance from other people. I know exactly how to, you know, not break those boundaries of being close to people, and I know how to act. You know, I work 5 days a week, 40 hours a week around people all the fucking time. So if I'm going to get COVID, it's probably from my job, not from being at a wrestling event. So, like, going to an event at this point does not scare me. Like, that literally just does not scare me anymore. However, going to a big venue like WrestleMania with Americans, that I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. Going to like a show with maybe 200-300 people, like, you know what, whatever. I see more people at my job a day. But going to a 20,000 seat WrestleMania, ooh, that very much increases the chances of getting COVID. And I haven't gotten COVID not one time yet. Many of my coworkers have gotten it. Some of my friends have gotten it. Some of my family has gotten it. I had one family member pass away from it, sadly. But I have yet to get it. So if there is a big event going on that it looks like there's too many people, I ain't going. I don't know if I could do it. Now, like I said, if I get vaccinated beforehand, now this is contingent on if I get vaccinated, because I put up to get vaccinated very soon. If I get the vaccine before I go to Tampa, then my opinion might change. Then my opinion might change to WrestleMania. But if I don't, yeah, no, don't plan on me going to WrestleMania this year. I might do a live stream in Tampa, who knows. But that's happening. They're also planning to do the first night of TakeOver on USA, and then the final night of TakeOver will be on the WWE Network. And by that time, I believe the WWE Network will be on Peacock, which I believe is going to start streaming March the 18th, which is a big controversy going on with the Peacock service, because I didn't read all of what's going on with Peacock, which I probably should have. I would have had more content for the Chill Spill podcast. But apparently they're not going to be porting over all the content just yet. We're not going to be getting it all till August. Some of the stuff isn't porting over. It's just a wreck. It's just a wreck with Peacock. And apparently they're going to be shutting down the entire WWE network, like, outside of Peacock on April the 4th. Which means that, if what I'm hearing is true, and that all the content will be ported over until August, that after April the 3rd, literally everything on the WWE network is going to be gone for 3 months. 3 months. Like, no, August is 5 months. Wait, am I right? March. Yeah, August is 5 months away. So, oof. Now, question I guess I have for you guys is, are you actually going to be subscribing to the Peacock service to watch the WWE Network? Now, majority of you are probably going to say yes, but I know some of you may say no. Some of you may say, I mean, if I'm not getting all the content I have right now, why would I pour it over? I know Peacock is running a $4.99 service of the WWE Network with ads, which I have right now. I'm watching the WWE Network with ads for $9.99, so that wouldn't bother me too much. I think for that matter, if NXT is on television and I can DVR television and I don't watch previews like that, I probably won't have a reason to actually port over to Peacock. I don't think I would have a reason to. I mean, WrestleMania, if I don't go to WrestleMania, but that's it. That's it. I don't watch any of the, the only pay-per-view I've watched this year was the Royal Rumble. I did not watch Elimination Chamber. I'm more than likely not watching Fastlane unless I'm off that day. Like, the care level I have for this company is so low, bro. So, the only reason I even have the network is more of a convenience for my channel. If I did not review professional wrestling, I guarantee you, I would have never resubscribed back to WWE Network in 2019. Because I unsubscribed after Hell in a Cell 2019, like a lot of people did. But I resubscribed, I think I resubscribed in time for the Royal Rumble. And then I just kept it after Royal Rumble 2020. But if I did not watch wrestling, I probably wouldn't even watch WWE in general. I'll probably only watch AEW and New Japan, which I'm doing right now. Oh, and Stardom. Oh, guys, speaking of Stardom, we're not at Stardom All-Star Dream Cinderella, so I'll hold that. But let's get into our last WWE topic here. Leg slapping. The good old... Wait, hold on. The good old leg slap, you know? When someone does a super kick, Shawn Michaels, the Young Bucks, Adam Cole, baby, you name it. Everybody nowadays does a super kick. And how does a super kick get performed exactly? Well, you take your right leg, because I don't know too many left leg kickers. You take your right leg, you bend it upwards, you know, tuck your knee in, and then you just extend it out right into your opponent's face. Now, since this is pro wrestling, and it's not 100% real, which we all know that it's not real, when you do a super kick, you're not legitimately trying to knock your opponent's head off, because you might end up concussing them. So, you probably pull a few inches back, make it look pretty clean, but to add the effect that you're actually kicking them, even though you're not. I mean, I'm not saying that in all cases nobody kicks their opponent's head, because some cases they do. But to add the effect, even if you do kick your opponent's head, you're not going to get that sound effect. So to add the sound effect, that nice clean, to add that, you have to slap your leg. If you don't slap your leg, you're not going to get that sound effect, and it's just going to look like you're kicking your opponent. I feel like for me, it's something that's so engraved in my head. Since I was younger, like, I remember back when I was like maybe 6, 7, or 8 years old, I used to play with my cousins on the front yard. My grandmother didn't like it. She used to always tell us to stop, and we always used to do anyway. I remember doing super kicks to my cousins, and I would slap my leg. And this is before I even knew wrestling was fake. Before I knew wrestling was fake or scripted, or whatever you want to call it, I would slap my leg to make the sound effect of a super kick. So even before you even know wrestling is fake, to imitate the sound of a super kick, you slap your leg. It's almost ingrained. Non-wrestling fans, when they try to imitate a super kick, or they try to imitate a punch to the face, they slap the body part to make the sound effect. So people already know this is what wrestling is. It's not some newfound concept. It's not you're exposing a business. Bitch, how are you exposing a business? People fucking know that. People know that that's what happens. Just like when you go to punch somebody in the face in wrestling, you stomp your feet to amplify the noise in the crowd. Now that looks a lot more fake than the kicks to the head do, but that's just how it is. Wrestling fans have accepted that. And if you can't accept that, why are you watching wrestling? Because they do that in every match now. But for whatever reason, Vince McMahon is just not a fan of this. And I think a week ago, Dave Meltzer reported that there was a sign read backstage in gorilla position that says, "Do not slap leg when kicking." Meltzer initially reported that there was a memo sent to NXT talent at one point, but no one said a word about it since that. Which is funny to me that it's going to NXT, because doesn't old HBK, the master of the sweet chin music, doesn't he train some of the guys at NXT? So how is he exactly going to train them and how to professionally, perfectly execute a super kick if you're not slapping your leg? Are we supposed to just kick our opponents in the face now? I'm saying like I'm a wrestler. I'm just trying to put my foot in the shoes of a pro wrestler. Because all I've done since I've been training was slapping my leg when I do super kicks. Now you're telling me not to do it. How am I supposed to make it look more effective? That's the question I have. So like when I saw some people online like, oh yeah, this is a good move. You know, this is gonna. I'm like, this isn't UFC, bro. This is not you. If you want wrestling to look more real, if you want to watch real shit, go fucking watch mixed martial arts. Just go watch MMA if you want to see real shit. This is pro wrestling, and we know that it's scripted. It should not bother you. So why it bothers Vince McMahon 20, 30, 40, 50 years after the fact? Because it's not like this is just something that's been happening yesterday. This is something that's been happening since the 1950s, the 1960s. 70s, 80s, 90s, O's, 10s. But 2021, all of a sudden it bothers him. This man is just such a weirdo, I swear to God. all I have to say about this is I think it's the dumbest shit ever. Expect that they'll go back to slapping their legs in the next month or two, because it won't hold up. Once NXT happens this Wednesday and people realize how awkward it is, and if they listen, because I won't be surprised if Adam Cole fucking forgets and then he gets like, you know, a citation or something, and then everyone just votes against it. But wait until Wednesday comes. We'll see what happens. I can't wait till NXT, bro. I can't wait to see how. I might have to watch NXT just to see how these guys do their super kicks. Because isn't Adam Cole facing Finn Balor? I'm pretty sure Adam Cole's facing Finn Balor for the NXT Championship this week. I might have to watch NXT just for that match. Just for that match. But all that news aside, now we hop into Stardom's All-Star Dream Cinderella show, which happened last Wednesday, March the 3rd. I will say this right before I get into the review. I firmly believe this is the best show that has happened so far in 2021. Better than the Royal Rumble. Better than Elimination Chamber. Better than Aew Revolution. Even better than Wrestle Kingdom. I think this is, bar none, the best show of the year so far. And you can say all day, but Tyler, Wrestle Kingdom, I don't care I don't care how big these shows are. I don't care how much bigger they are than this. This was the best show. In terms of work rate, in terms of storytelling, I can't find a show that's better than this one. I can't find one. But before we get into it, let me announce right here. Since I'm not going to be talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling all that much anymore, I've decided I'll be reviewing Stardom shows on my channel. Even the Road to shows leading into the bigger shows, I'll be watching those and reviewing those on the channel. They will be going up one day earlier on the Tyler Match Patreon page, and they'll be going up a day later on the Tyler-kun Williams channel. So hopefully you guys tune in for those reviews. If they do good, we'll continue them. If they don't do good, we might just do them on Patreon exclusively. It's all up to you guys. So if you guys want to see them, you got to pull up. That's all I ask. But now let's get into this review. So, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I took notes down for this show. And I don't know what happened, because I took them down on my phone when I was watching on my second go around. I don't know what happened, but I can't find the notes. All the notes have just been erased. I don't know what happened. I don't know if someone went into my phone and fucked with me, but the notes are not there. So, I'm going to be doing this review notes free. So if I am misremembering some spots, please forgive me. But this is the All-Star Dream Cinderella review. So on the prologue fight, which was their pre-show, which I was a bit mad at that this match was on a pre-show, we had Azumi defending her high-speed championship against Natsupoi. Now I was excited as hell for this match, because on the last big Stardom show, which was I believe their Osaka Dream Cinderella show? One of the last biggest shows. Azumi was fighting somebody for the championship. And I said, Dane, I was talking to my friend Dane who's watching this live with me. I said, Dane, you know what match I really badly want to see with Azumi? I want to see her face Natsupoi. Because Natsupoi, she's one of the latest recruits to Stardom. She came in a little after her Meika. She's the latest recruit to DDM. And Natsupoi has impressed me a lot, because she's like really teeny tiny. She's like 5'0" basically. And she moves around a ring like a cruiserweight, like a male cruiserweight. And she is just so fast, so pristine. And Azumi, you guys know, Azumi's like one of my favorites in Stardom right now. I would even say my second favorite behind Tyler-kun. Like, Azumi is just so pristine as well. So I'm like, these guys will have chemistry. These two women have chemistry with each other. And she challenged Azumi on that show. And I said, oh my God, I can't wait for this match to happen. And it came and it delivered. It delivered. These two women went out there and they showed their ass, and in a good way too. It was great. It was really good. Really good match. One of the best spots of the entire night, and I can't even describe how the spot went. But Natsupoi kicked Azumi in the gut, and Azumi's kind of like bent over. Natsupoi, she runs at Azumi, jumps in the air, grabs her, rolls in midair, and slams her down into a sunset flame. I have never seen this move in my entire life, but it is one of the dopest moves I have ever seen on Stardom. And I said, you know what? If Natsupoi wins this match, I'm not going to be too highly upset. Because I ain't going to lie, I was still a little upset at the finish here. Because Natsupoi did end up winning, I believe, with the Twisted Bliss. And got the pin over Azumi to become the new high-speed champion. I was a little upset because I'm like, DDM wins every fucking thing. I swear to God, bro. I mean, if I gotta talk about New Japan, what annoys me there, If there's something noise about Stardom, it's their booking of DDM. Because DDM almost never loses. Donald Armando is like the strongest booked faction in all of Japanese wrestling right now. And I'm like, you know what? Azumi, did she have to win this match? Not necessarily. Did she need to lose this match? I definitely don't think so. But Natsupoi is a new high-speed champion. I thought this was a really good match. If I do say the one positive come out of this is that this opens the door for Azumi to do more outside of the high-speed division. Because she's been in the high-speed championship picture for like the last 3-4 years. Really since she's been a child. She just turned 18, I think, back in November. So now she can honestly go for, you know, a Wonder of Stardom championship, a SWA World Championship. That means that's a bit lower. She could possibly even go for the World of Stardom Championship. Why the hell not? Why the hell not? We got Momo versus Utami. We just got Sayaka Mitani versus Utami. Why not give us Azumi versus Utami? She won't win, but I'd say why the fuck not? So it opens the door for that. For that matter, I'm going to leave it be. I'm going to leave it be because it was a great match, and it opens the door for Azumi for doing more. So I'll leave it be. Next match we had in here on the prologue fight was Himeka and Maika of Donald Armando. Back that up. Of Donald Armando. Versus Natsuko Tora and Saki Kashima of Oedo Tai. Now, I did not pay too much attention to this match. I'll be honest with you guys. I think the coolest spot of the match is when Himeka got Natsuko Tora and Saki Kashima both up on her shoulders for like this double torture rack. I mean, she kind of just let them fall, which was kind of corny. I would have wished she slammed them or something, but it was cool. Himeka's like the powerhouse of Stardom right now, even though she's really not built like one. Just to see her brute strength and force in this is always pretty cool. Maika's improved a lot too. It's always cool to see what she can do in here. Natsuko Tora and Saki Kashima, they're really good. Himeka and Maika did end up retaining their Goddesses of Stardom, right? Goddesses of Stardom Tag Team Championships. And like I said, I didn't pay so much attention to it, so I can't really comment all that much. But then we head into the actual main show. We got started off with the All-Star Dream Cinderella Rumble. In this match, we saw my God. I'm going to bot some of these names. I'm just giving you guys a heads up. It's going to happen. In this match, we saw Yuzuki Aika, Yuri Haruka, Yuna Manase, Yokobito, Starlight Kid, Sayaida, Ruka, Rin Karukura, Momo Nakanishi, Mina Shirakawa making her return after having a nose injury, Mima Shimoda, Miho Wakizawa, Mei Hoshizuki, who faced Azumi, I believe, a few shows ago. That was pretty good. Lady C. We had Kyoko Inoi. We had Emi Sakura, who came out with the whole roster of Gato Move, aside from the Bali guy, the guy of the show, which was just, she had such a dope entrance. Emi Sakura, I popped huge for her because she's the best part of women's wrestling right now. We had Kikutaro, Koguma, Hiroyo Matsumoto, who I've seen in the Mae Young Classic 2 years ago, so it was cool to see her. Hiromi Mimura, Gokujin Death, Shikuza Nagoya, and B Priestoli. And of all the women in here, the one I didn't name was the winner, and that was none other than Unagi Sayaka of Cosmic Angels, which I feel like I should have saw coming, but I didn't, because she had a story built up for her. You know, when she came into Cosmic Angels, she was the least experienced of the bunch. Her matches were not really all that enthusiastic. And I think it was on the last show when they actually took a L, or she got eliminated first, that she kind of begged Tam to put her through a 7-match series, and Tam agreed. And she lined up like a bunch of opponents for Unagi to face, and she lost to each and every single one of them. From Julia to Saida to just about anybody she faced, she lost against. So that was the story. Unagi was basically the loser. She was the lackey of the Cosmic Angels. She's got to find a way to bounce back. She's got to find a way to actually get a win. And what a better place for her to get a dub than in the All-Star Dream Battle Royal with a legend like Kyoko Inoi and other big stars of Joshi Wrestling. So Unagi winning this match, that's a big endorsement for her. A big endorsement for her. Now, I still don't believe she's at the level where she should be contending for like a World of Stardom Championship, but it's a good start for her. And she'll improve over time. And in due time, I wouldn't mind seeing her go after the SWA. So good for Unagi. But then we get into our singles matches. Because unlike New Japan, Stardom actually does singles matches on their shows. New Japan will sit around and have 18 shows in a row of just tag team matches. New Japan's like, here's some singles matches for you. Enjoy. And literally everything up until this point was just either good or above. The first match we had in here, after the Rumble, was Nxt Takahashi versus Momo Watanabe. Now this match was 10 minutes, but holy hell was it a good 10-minute match. It was stiff as all hell. Momo came at her with elbows and chops and kicks, and Nene just retaliated with even stronger ones. And it was just a matter of who was going to fall first. And Nene fell a few times, Momo fell a few times. But ultimately, it was Nene, I think her name is technically Nane. It was Nane who got the win over Momo Watanabe, which was probably the only result of the entire show that I would have changed. Even Natsupoi winning Azumi, I didn't really like the fact that she won, but I still was like, you know what? That opens the door for Azumi. With Nane winning over Momo, I didn't understand because Momo's been having this, and I don't even know if it's a story at this point. I literally don't even think it's a story at this point. I just think people don't like Momo. Because for months now, Momo Watanabe has been snubbed in the booking aspect. She's been losing left and right. She lost to Mayu. She lost to this chick. She lost to Julia. She lost to Tam. She lost to Utami. Then, it's like they're not even really building her up for the show. It's like, okay, she has this match against Nane Takahashi, who's basically the partner of Yoshiko in Seedlining, or whatever the company's called. Seedlining, I think it's Seedlining. She's in this company with Yoshiko, so they kind of come in and do the, Seedlining versus Stardom show. And, Momo is supposed to be like the secondary ace behind Mayu Iwatani, so it makes the most sense for her to be in this spot. But then she loses. They can't even get Momo win over Nane Takahashi. So it's like, at this point, I don't know what's going on with Momo. I don't think it's booking. I think they just don't want her to be in that spot anymore at this point. Because it's like, if they really trusted in this woman, they would have had her win this match. But she lost again. Now, I could be just being a dumb mark, and maybe she's going to get a win at the next show. But how many more shows are we going to see her losing before her reputation starts to dwindle? Before her value starts to dwindle? I mean, it's already dwindling in a lot of fans' eyes because she can't win shit now. I don't know what's going on with them and how they see Momo, but hopefully they get it in check very soon. Like I said, good match, questionable booking decision, but that's really the only one of the show that I was really questioning. And it didn't sour me on the show at all. So then we get into the next match, Siori versus Konami for the SWA Undisputed Women's World Championship. This was the match I thought was going to be more stiff than the last, but this was probably the only match that I was a little disappointed in. And it wasn't even like a bad match. It was still a relatively good match, but I just expected more from these two because their styles were so similar. They're both stiff strikers, both very submission based. And it went like a little over 8 minutes. And she already got the job done. She actually tapped out Konami, which shocked the hell out of me. I'm like, Konami, Konami goes in there and she'll shoot on a bitch if she has to. She'll tap somebody out with her triangle lancer, which is still one of the most nastiest looking submissions I've ever seen. But she tapped out to Siori here. And Konami also is a weird booking thing because it's like Konami is somebody who will go in there and she'll kick your ass. And she may even win. But God forbid it's a championship match and she just forgets how... Like, Konami just forgets what the letter W is when it comes to championship matches. When it comes to world title match, she forgets the aspect of getting a 3 count. I don't know how this happens. She can never win Wonder Stardom Championship matches. I'm thinking, okay, if she can never win the white strap, maybe she'll win the SWA. But she can't even do that either. So I don't know what's going on with Konami either. Maybe it's just in her future to only be the Goddesses of Stardom Tag Team Champions with Jungle Kiona. when she comes back and they start feuding. A lot of people were kind of speculating and having this fantasy booking that, oh, Konami's going to win the Wonder of Stardom Championship in time for Jungle Kyona to come back, and they're going to feud, and Jungle is going to beat it off of Konami. And you know what? In a fantasy land, that is perfect booking. But the way they book Konami, I don't even know if she's ever going to win a singles championship at this point. I don't know. She's been with the company for how long now? Since 2016, 2015, probably longer than that. How long has Konami been with Stardom? She's been with Stardom for a long ass time. Konami. She's been with Stardom for a long ass time. I'm sitting here saying 2016. Hold on. Konami currently signed to Stardom. No, I was right. 2016. Okay, so she's been with the company since 2016, and the only championships she's won were the Artists of Stardom championships with Hana and Jungle, rest in peace Hana, and Hiromi Mimura and Kairi Hojo. And then the Goddesses of Stardom championships with Jungle Kyona and B Priestley. So she's only been tag team champions in the 5 years she's been with Stardom. So I don't know, man. I mean, she's young. I think Konami's my age, right? Yeah, Konami's like 24. She's 1 year older than me. So she's not old or anything. She's very, very young. She still has time, but you know, it's like, all right. Y'all gonna fuck around. Y'all gonna lose Konami and Momo to fucking NXT Japan. Y'all stop playing around here. But then we get into the last 3 matches. These last 3 matches are bunned on some of the greatest wrestling you'll see of the year. The first one was Mayu Iwatani versus Yoshiko. Now, there was a big controversy with Yoshiko going years back with Yakuza, where she straight up stiffed and fought Yakuza so bad. I mean, she beat this woman senseless so badly that I believe she blinded her one eye and injured her to the point where she couldn't wrestle anymore. So many fans were very much against Yoshiko even being on the show, and you know what? I don't even blame them. I don't even blame them. But Yoshiko ended up making her way onto the show to face Mayu Iwatani, and I thought they had a great match. This is my first time seeing Yoshiko in the ring, and she went out there and she did her thing. Mayu Iwatani sewed her ass off for Yoshiko, and Mayu Iwatani, I believe, was out for a few weeks on some type of injury, and she was taking some safe bumps on a few shows. So like, I was calling to question if she's gonna be ready for this match, but no. Mayu Iwatani came out here and she showed why she was the ace of the company. Well, was the ace at least. She did end up beating Yoshiko with her moonsault and got the win. So Mayu Iwatani gets the win, as she should have. And that led us into the co-main event of the evening. Utami Hayashishita defending her World of Stardom Championship against the innovator of the Shooting Star Press, Saya Kamatani. This was, I would even say, a great match as well. This was a great match, maybe slightly under Mayu and Yoshiko, but this was a great match. Saya Kamatani is just she has improved so damn much since the first time I seen her. And the first time I saw her, when she was in the pink tutu with the green stuff, the first time I saw her, I didn't think she was bad. I would even say she was good then, but she's just leaps and bounds, bro. I mean, she's not the greatest wrestler in the world or anything. She's not the best wrestler in Stardom, but goddamn, top 5 right off the bat. If you want to say top 10, go ahead and say top 10, but she's definitely nowhere beneath that. In this match, she was flying all over the place, trying to evade Utami. Utami, being the powerhouse that she is, was basically trying to throw her around. Saya wasn't having it. Like I said, I don't have notes, so it's kind of hard to pinpoint and remember exactly all the spots that happened. But what I can tell you is that in the final moments, we saw Saya Kamatani break out a goddamn Canadian Destroyer. And I'm like, you know what? Just give Saya Kamatani all the fucking belts in Stardom. Because I don't even know if I've ever seen anyone in Stardom do a Canadian Destroyer. Which is like the most overrated move in all of wrestling right now. But like, to see a woman in Stardom do a Canadian Destroyer, I'm like, that was the dopest shit ever. She didn't win though, which I would have been like, you know, if she would have won off of that, I wouldn't even blamed her. I would have been like, I don't know why y'all putting the title on Saya Kamatani. I know she's great and all, but yeah, I don't know if I'll put it on her right now. But she didn't win. Utami Hayashishita ended up winning with her 3 rings powerbomb, and she retained the World of Stardom Championship. After the match, B Priestley came out and challenged her, which I was like, ugh.
ugh. I ain't really all that big on B Priestley like that. Like, you don't get me wrong, B Priestley's good, but yeah, I don't really care much for that feud. But then we get into the main event of the evening. Giulia defending the of Stardom Championship against Tam Nakano. This was an amazing match. This is very much worthy of a 10 out of 10 in my book. The storytelling, the work rate, everything blended in here and was just perfect. And I was very much questioning if this match is going to be that good, because the last 3 matches they had, they kind of start to feel the same after some point. But this match, the way Giulia worked over Tam, and how Tam, and I will say this until the day I die, there is no woman on this planet that is a better in-ring storyteller than Tam Nakano. She can get me invested in almost any. If Tam Nakano wanted to wrestle a fucking lollipop, I would watch that shit, because she could get me invested in some way. But, and I'm not trying to be sexual at all, I'm just saying, I had a lollipop in my hand when I said that. But like, if Tam Nakano go in there with anybody, and I'm thinking now about how many matches in Stardom are in my top 5, top 10, top 20 favorite women's matches of all time. Tam Nakano's in at least 3 or 4 of those matches now. More than Mayu, more than Momo, more than anybody. Tam's in that list. So bro, Tam has to be in discussion for greatest women's wrestler of all time when her career said and done. I'm just saying, she's got to be in a discussion. And like I said, I can't detail this match for you. What I can detail you is the final moments when Tam hit that J Driller. She got Giulia up and hit a suplex pile driver onto this motherfucker. And I said, holy shit, it's over. But Giulia kicked out. She got her up. She hit her Twilight Dream, and she got the pin. And guys, Tam Nakano is your new Wonder of Stardom champion. And damn near tears almost rolled down my eyes seeing this moment, because Tam Nakano for years has been chasing that championship, and each and every single time she comes close, but she never gets it. And it was the story with her and Arisa Hoshiki, Team Dream Shine, her losing to her, and still to this day my favorite match of all time in Stardom, Tam Nakano versus Arisa Hoshiki at Stardom's what was it called? It was a dream something show, All-Star Dream show. It was something, but they had a match, and to this day it's still my favorite Stardom match. And Tam lost, and it was so emotional, and just the storytelling and the way they positioned it. But seeing her finally win it was just wow. I feel like the payoff was just great. It's one of those things I love about professional wrestling, bro. This is why I love professional wrestling. Seeing a long-term story payoff. It was all, I would even compare it, and I know fans are going to be like, oh, you're going too far, but I would even compare it to Tetsuya Naito winning the championship at Wrestle Kingdom 14. When Naito defeated Okada, I almost had that same feeling when I saw Tam beat Giulia here. That's how emotional of a moment it was. Now, what added to it was this was also a hair versus hair match, and that the loser had to shave their head bald. Giulia lost his match, so she had to get a trim. Now, Tam Nakano didn't have the balls to do it, so they had a barber come in, and as the clippers went, so did the hair. Giulia had her head shaved. Now, she didn't get her whole head shaved bald on TV because of time constraints, so she went backstage and got the rest of her hair shaved bald. But what I will say this, I saw the pictures. I saw Giulia on the latest Stardom show, bald, with new, I don't know if you want to call it Cadet Kelly, you can call it Sonya Blade, I don't know, you can call it fucking what's the girl's name from Terminator, you can call it Badass Army Chick. I don't know what her new attire is supposed to be, but Giulia looks hard as fuck in that attire, bro. Giulia rocks that and I said this before she got a haircut. I'm like, if anybody could probably walk that bald look, it's Giulia. Giulia probably could rock it, and she is. I think she looks better with the hair cut short than she did with the hair. And that's not saying that she's ugly or anything, but I think she looks even more badass with her hair with a buzz cut than she did with longer hair. So kudos to her for agreeing to the stipulation because she looked like a whole fucking king out there. And I can't wait to watch that show and see her match with the Gokujin Death. And I'll be watching that show tomorrow, so watch out for that review coming soon. But that was Stardom All-Star Dream Cinderella. Once again, best show of the year so far. I would give that show a solid 9.5 out of 10. Solid 9.5 out of 10. It's very hard for a show to get a 10 out of 10. I don't know what a 10 out of 10 show looks like right now, but that show, definitely go watch it. If you have time, watch that show. It is absolutely worth every single match getting a viewing of you. Every single match. But now we're done with that. Let's talk about AEW. Before we get into Revolution, we'll talk briefly about AEW Dynamite The Crossroads. Cody and Red Velvet versus Shaq and Jade Cargill was a match we've been building up for months now. And we finally got it at the opening match of the show. Which was, after watching it back second time, I will say the match was good. Alright? Shaq was in there. He was slow. He wasn't Great Khali slow, but he was definitely slow. But Cody made him look good. Jade Cargill wasn't super green. I mean, she is still new, but she wasn't super green. Red Velvet, she showed out. I thought they all did their part. They all did well. Shaq, kudos, big kudos to Shaquille O'Neal, because this motherfucker took a spot where Cody, he was on the ropes, on the apron. Cody Rhodes runs the ropes and body splashes onto Shaquille O'Neal through 2 tables. Shaquille O'Neal takes a double table spot. Shaquille O'Neal is a celebrity, and he agreed to take a double table spot, so big ups to that guy. Jade Cargill did end up winning the match with a glam slam onto Red Velvet to get the pin, as it should have went. So Shaq and Jade did end up winning this match. Shaq got stretchered out into an ambulance, and then when they came back from commercial break, he was gone, which is weird. But like I said, I thought that was a good match. Some people were out there saying, oh, this is the greatest celebrity match of all time. I would beg to differ. I beg to differ on that. I mean, if I'm being honest here, I think that Pat McAfee is a way better in-ring performer than Shaq is. Shaq was good for what he was able to do, but Pat McAfee impressed the fuck out of me against Adam Cole last year. And then top it all off, he was still really damn good in the War Games match. So let's not sleep on Pat McAfee here. I know Shaquille O'Neal is a bigger star outside of wrestling than Pat McAfee is, but Pat McAfee outperformed Shaquille O'Neal 100 times over. But once again, big ups to Shaq. Also on the show, Paul White made his appearance. He announced that there's going to be a big signing of Revolution, and it's not who you think. We'll talk about that in a bit. And then also on the show, Ryu Mizunami defeated Nyla Rose to become the winner of the AEW Eliminator Tournament, setting up Ryu Mizunami versus Hikaru Shira for Revolution. Now, you might ask yourself, well, what were the numbers for this show? Did they do over 1 million with Shaq being on there? They only did 931,000. They only did 931K. Now, you can say this is a disappointment that they didn't hit 1 million, but it's a big plus for them because it's one of the biggest numbers they did in a while. So, good for AEW. But now we hop into AEW Revolution, which just happened last Sunday, just a few days ago. On the buy-in, the pre-show, we had Riho and Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker and Reba, or Rebel. Now, Britt Baker comes out with Rebel, who's in the crutch. And she's like, Rebel can't wrestle tonight. So I have a new partner. And out comes none other than the Queen of Simps, the deity of shit, the greatest Joshi wrestler of all time, Maki Ito. To a great big pop, by the way. It popped the hell out of me. The crowd was happy. I was happy. And the match itself was alright. You could tell Maki Ito definitely had some stage fright in there because there was a few spots where she flubbed, and I'm like, you know what, Maki? You're right, Maki. It's alright to flub. I understand, first night in America, the nerves get to you, so I understand it. But it was an alright match. Britt Baker did end up winning the match with Maki Ito, so they get the dub there. Then we hop into the main show. We start off with the Young Bucks defending the AEW World Tag Team Championships against MJF and Chris Jericho. This is a good match to start off the show. I enjoyed it quite a bit. MJF, Chris Jericho, they have good chemistry as a tag team. The Young Bucks have better chemistry as a tag team. The Young Bucks are good baby faces. I just wish their characters represented that as much because I swear to God, the Young Bucks don't know what they want to be. They don't know what they want to be. Some weeks they're baby faces. Some weeks they're acting heelish. In this feud, they're obviously the baby faces because MJF, Chris Jericho attacked their dad. Now, you would expect, with Jericho and MJF attacking Chris Jericho's dad, making him bleed, the Young Bucks would have great animosity going into this match. But not really. The match didn't really come off as if they were like super aggressive, and I mean, they were aggressive somewhat, like super aggressive and ready to bite their heads off. That's not how it came off to me. So that was a bit weird. But the Young Bucks did end up taking the match home by hitting a plethora of super kicks onto MJF and Chris Jericho and hitting Y2J with a Meltzer driver for the dub. The Young Bucks retaining the AEW Tag Team Championships. And that led us into the Tag Team Casino Battle Royale, which was kind of odd because I'm like, I don't know why we went from one tag team match to another tag team match, but I'll take it. Before I hop into that, let me take a sip of some agua real quick. I realize we're now at the 56-minute marks. We're definitely not going under an hour, but such is life. Such is life. In this Tag Team Casino Battle Royale, we had Bear Country, Bronson, and Beefcake. And I will say this much, that was my first time seeing Bear Country. They're impressive, especially that Bronson guy. Bronson, or what was it, Bear? Or whatever his name was. This dude had two guys. I don't remember who they were, but he had two guys. One he was holding in a fallaway position, and the other one on the shoulders. And he held them up there for at least a good 3 seconds before slamming them both down. So he was impressive. Yeah, I got my own Bear Country now because of that one spot. We had Bear Country. We had the Butcher and the Blade. We had Cesar Bonini and Peter Avalon. The Dark Order. We had three iterations of Dark Order here. We had 5 and 10. Alan Angels and Preston Vance. We had Evil Uno and Stu Grayson. We had Alex Reynolds and John Silver. We had Triangulo de la Muerte. There, Pac and Ray Phoenix. We had the Gun Club of Austin and I forgot his brother's name, but Austin and his brother Gun. We had Santana and Ortiz of Proud and Powerful. We had Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus of Jurassic Express. Marco Stunt got involved in this match for some reason, which was one of the worst spots of the entire night. When Marco Stunt hit a running Rana onto Evil Uno, who reacted like 2 seconds later. It just looked horrible. We had Matt and Mike Seidel. We had the Natural Nightmares, Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall, who had a really interesting but weird spot in here. Now, I don't watch Dark, so maybe I've been missing stuff. I don't know. But in this match, we had Dustin and QT Marshall going at each other. Now, in the ring at the same time was the Gun Club. Gun Club's going at somebody. QT sees his opportunity, and he eliminates Austin Gunn. Now, Dustin Rhodes, he's kind of mad at this. He's like, what's going on? What are you doing? Why are you eliminating our butt? Like, that's the Nightmare Family. What are you doing, bro? QT Marshall gets all mad. I don't know why he got this mad, but he gets so mad that he hops over the top rope and eliminates himself. The first thing I said is, what the fuck? Dumbass? Like, even if you were that mad, I would have just ignored Dustin. Why would you eliminate yourself and cost your team the match? He eliminates himself, flips Dustin off, and spits at him. And I'm like, what did Dustin do for him to be this angry? QT Marshall eliminated Austin Gunn. He eliminated Austin. Why are you mad that Dustin called you out? Like, I understand it's a match, which Dustin probably should have understood that. But QT had no reason to be that pissed. So that was just kind of, it was interesting, but it was odd. Because I'm like, what? Did I miss something here? Because there was no build up to this on Dynamite. Not last week, not the week before, not this week. It just kind of happened. So that was odd. We have Private Party, Isaiah Cassidy, Mark Quinn, SCU, Christopher Daniels and Frank Kazarian, and the Varsity Blondes, BPJ, Brian Pillman Jr., and Griff Garrison. Now the final four came down to John Silver of the Dark Order, Jungle Boy of Jurassic Express, and Rey Fenix and Pac of Triangulo de la Muerte Death Triangle. Phoenix ended up eliminating John Silver, which I was disappointed in because I was rooting for John Silver and Alex Reynolds to win. Jungle Boy ended up getting the shock elimination over Pac, which means it came down to Phoenix and Jungle Boy, which I was hyped for because I'm like, I would love to see these two go one-on-one with each other. They'll have a dope-ass match. Phoenix ends up eliminating Jungle Boy to win the match for the Death Triangle, which was my second pick to win this match. Because Pac and Ray Phoenix, they've been killing it. And if Pac's not going to be going for the AEW World Championship anytime soon, and the Phoenix not going for the TNT Championship anytime soon, then I would love to see these two win the Tag Team Championships. I would love to see them beat the Young Bucks. Now, I don't know when the Tag Team Championship match is coming up, but it's coming soon. Maybe even at Double or Nothing. Imagine that. Pac and Phoenix versus the Young Bucks at Double or Nothing. That'd be great. That'd be great. After this, we get Hikaru Shida defending her AEW Women's Championship against Ryo Mizunami. This was a damn good match. You could even argue this is one of the best women's matches AEW's had so far. I don't know if I go that far. I think I still slightly. Oh, do I? I don't know. It's a tie between this and Serenity versus Riho from the tournament for best match of the tournament. It's a tie. But it was a damn good match. Very stiff, very hard hitting. It was a Joshi match. It was a Joshi strong style match you'd expect these two men to have, which the fans loved. I loved. I think the only nitpick I have here was that I felt like there was too many kickouts. And there was too many kickouts on the side of Ryo. Now, if Ryo Mizunami stick around for a bit, cool. But she kicked out at least like 2 or 3 different running knees from Shida, which I'm like, it's called a finishing move for a reason. Like, I understand if it's a pay-per-view. If it's a pay-per-view and you want to do one finisher kick out, cool. If you want to do 2, that's pushing it. If it's one of your biggest matches of your career, cool. Pushing it, but cool. But 3 is a bit of overkill. I feel like she had at least 3 and she kicked out of all 3 of them. And it took her a twisting knee to Ryo to get the win. So Shida retained her title. Like I said, really good match. Interesting spot in this match is when you could see Shida's getting frustrated that Ryo was kicking out, and she poked her in the eye and tried for a roll-up pin. Now it was a very, very brief spot. Wasn't even a heel turn, because immediately after the spot ended, she went back to act like a babyface. So I don't know if that's just the seed planted for a Shida heel turn, or if she was just frustrated. But I took note. Of that spot. If we see eye pokes more often, then we heading somewhere with Shida, because she's heading into 1 year as the champion. If Ryo didn't do it, then Britt's next. They also announced AEW Double or Nothing is officially going to be Sunday, May the 30th. Just 1 day after the Tokyo Dome show in New Japan. Just let's go throw that out there. Also, after that, we had Kip Sabian and Miro versus Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy. Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy were attacked backstage prior to the match. I thought the match wasn't going to happen. I was kind of excited because I didn't care for it. But then they came out to the ring. He dragged Chuck Taylor outside to the ring. Chuck Taylor said, "Ring the bell," and the match came underway. Chuck Taylor got his ass kicked for a good portion till Orange Cassidy came out and made the hot tag, and he ran wild. Like I said, the match is okay. I didn't pay too much attention to it. I didn't really care for it. But Chuck Taylor ended up finding his way back into the ring with Miro. I believe Chuck Taylor got shoved by Miro, purposely shoved into Penelope Ford. Penelope took a bump. Kip went to check on him. Kip went to check on her. Oh, I called her a him. Ooh. Went to check on her. And Miro ended up locking in the game over for the submission victory. So Miro and Kip win this match. Another loss for Chuck Taylor over this team. So hopefully this is the end of the feud. But it looks like they're teasing a breakup soon between Kip and Miro, because if Penelope rats him out and says, "Hey, your best man shoved your opponent into me," and Kip starts saying, "What's going on, bro?" Because they were teasing it, but Miro was kind of like playing it off like, "Oh my god, everything's all right, everything's fine," hugging him, whatnot. You could see Kip was a little questionable. So anything to split these two up, I'm down for. I'm ready for Miro to go on a singles run. I'm ready for it. But that was that. Then we got into the ladder match. We had Cody Rhodes versus Max Caster, who had a pretty good bars being spat on this show, versus Lance Archer, versus Pentagon, versus Scorpio Sky, or Scorpio Sky, versus a mystery opponent. And many fans were speculating who it could be. I said Carlito, and out came All Ego Ethan Page, who is now officially signed to All Elite Wrestling after his Impact Wrestling contract came up 2 weeks ago. Not 2 months ago. I think 2 weeks, 2 months ago. He's now in AEW. Good for Ethan Page. I have not seen enough of Ethan Page to form a formal opinion of him, but I thought he did well in the match. Cody Rhodes in this match just annoyed me. Because Cody was obviously, he had his shoulder taped up. He was going into his method of injury. Opponents were kind of aiming at Cody's shoulder. And at one point in the match, he takes a bump off a ladder, falls on his shoulder. Ring crew comes out, and Cody's selling it. And the attention's on Cody. Like, oh, Cody has to go to the back. And I'm seething. I'm getting pissed. Because I've watched wrestling enough to know that when somebody stretches out of the match, normally they come back and they win the whole thing. And I said, if Cody comes back and wins the whole thing, I'm going to be fucking furious. So, Cody's walking to the back slowly as ever, trying to make it all about him. The action's happening in the ring. And this is a good ladder match. I've seen much better, but this is a good ladder match. Cody eventually makes his way back to the ring. Tries to go after the ladder, but he keeps on getting sent off. At one point, he sends somebody off the ladder, and it's just him standing, and the crowd starts booing Cody. And I'm like, yes, boo this man. Boo this fucking guy. He does not need to win this match and face Darby Allin again. So I was actually kind of excited when I heard boos from him. And he looked kind of shocked, too, when the crowd started booing him. He tried to climb the ladder. Scorpio Sky came into the mix. They're battling it out. Scorpio Sky knocks Cody off and grabs the brass ring hanging above it, which looked exactly like a Sonic the Hedgehog ring from one of his games. But Scorpio Sky grabs the brass ring, and he is the face of the Revolution. And this week on AEW Dynamite, he will be challenging Darby Allin for the TNT Championship. Now, the chances of him winning it aren't really that high, but I would say maybe 30-70. Maybe 30-70, but still in favor of Darby Allin. Now, after this match, Paul White, he was on. He wasn't actually in the arena. He was backstage saying that, oh, it's going to be somebody who can't be outworked. He said that earlier in the night. Then we had a podium on the ramp, and Justin Roberts announced the new signing for AEW is, and I hear it. I hear the bum bum bum. Like, I heard that thing. You didn't even need to show me. If with my eyes closed, I knew who it was. It was Christian Cage, because this was the TNA version of his theme song. Which, if you ask me, there's two great Christian theme. Now, mind you, he has great theme songs in general. There are two all-time great Christian theme songs. There's the first version of Close Your Eyes, the high-pitched Close Your Eyes with the female, and then there's the Christian Cage TNA theme song. And when I heard this, I said, oh my God, it's Christian. And the Christian Cage appeared on the Titantron. Fans went wild. Christian comes out, signs a contract. Christian is officially All Elite. He signed a multi-year contract with AEW. So good for my guy. I wasn't highly upset that it was Christian. I think some people had their expectations a little bit too high. Now, at the same time, AEW built this up as like this humongous, earth-shattering signing. And it was Christian Cage. So if people were disappointed, I'm not going to sit here and say that they shouldn't have been disappointed, but I do think expectations were a bit too high. Just a little too high. But Christian's in AEW. All power to him. As long as he's not going after the AEW Championship, because he is 47 years old and he's already had his time. If he wants to have a feud here and there, if he wants to go after the TNT Championship, cool. But after the World Championship, no. Edge can go after the WWE Championship all he wants, the Universal Championship all he wants, and I still will say it's a bit late for that. But Christian going after the AEW Championship, no. Then we get into a co-main event. The street fight. Darby Allin and Sting versus Brian Cage and Ricky Starks. This, in my opinion, is the best cinematic match aesthetically that I've ever seen. It was grimy. It looked like something out of a, I don't want to say out of a what's the guy's name? Oh, I forgot the guy's name. It was just on top of my head. Oh, I forgot his name. Whatever. It was a very professionally directed film, it looks like to me. It was dark. It was grimy. They were in a warehouse, beating each other down. The camera shots, the angles, everything about this. I'm not going to sit here and describe this match to you blow by blow because it's a cinematic match. Cinematic matches, in my opinion, are not really worth reviewing because contextually they're not basically laid out like a wrestling match. But from the spots I saw, from the images I saw, Sting looked good. Darby was thrown around like a goddamn ragdoll as you expected him to. He took his dangerous spot off the top of a platform that was about like 20 feet up in the air onto Brian Cage, which was cool. It led to a bit of a single scuff between Sting and Ricky Starks, which was cool. Sting ended up hitting the Scorpion Death Drop onto Ricky Starks and got the pin to win the match. Darby Allin and Sting got it, which is cool. Sting, what's next for him after this? I'm not too sure, but it was cool to see Sting back in the ring. But then we got to the main event of the evening. Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship in an exploding barbed wire death match. Now, before we get to the finish, the match itself, it was good. It was everything I expected. I mean, I think I expected it a little bit more. If you want to ask me which match do I think was better, this or the Lights Out match, in terms of what they did, I would have probably went with the Lights Out match. I mean, it was blood, there was barbed wire, there was explosions to the point of pyro, I guess. It was what you expected. I think if you had low expectations, you were impressed. If you had high expectations like I did, you were like, it was good, but was it better than the Lights Out match? I expected them to go all out, and I felt like I didn't really get all that too much. I think it would have benefited from going a bit shorter. It went like, I think like 27, 25 minutes. Kenny Omega, and the ending pissed me off too, because the Good Brothers came out to help Kenny Omega win this match, which annoyed the shit out of me because this is the most Bullet Club ending I've ever seen from AEW. They had the Bullet Club come out, and Bullet Club have been helping Kenny Omega win their matches for like weeks now, a month now even. They run in and they help Kenny Omega win, and it's like Kenny Omega is capable of winning on his own. It's like Jay White. It's like Jay White with Ghetto. It's getting to that territory now, and doing it at a pay-per-view nonetheless is even more of just a slap in the face to your fans. To not have a clean finish like that on a pay-per-view. It's making me mad thinking about it because it reminds me of New Japan right now. But Kenny Omega retained the AEW Championship. But then the timer starts going off. Because remember, there's a 30-minute time limit on this match. After 30 minutes, all the explosives will go off in the ring. 60 seconds remain. Kenny Omega's posing, gets outside of the ring. He's posing with the AEW World Championship. 30 seconds, he runs to the back. Jon Moxley's been handcuffed in the ring by the Good Brothers. He's basically unconscious, can't go anywhere. We see at the 25-second mark, Eddie Kingston, the Butcher, and the Blade come out. And the Butcher and the Blade are trying to stop Eddie Kingston. They're trying to stop Eddie Kingston. And Eddie Kingston fights off the Butcher and the Blade just to get into the ring. He gets into the ring. He's trying to help Jon. And this is deep storytelling here, because Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston just had a rivalry just two pay-per-views ago at Full Gear, and it was a deep rivalry, a deep storyline that I loved. And to see Eddie Kingston come out here for his old friend and cover him up to protect him from the blast was some real homie shit. And that was it. You can even say this was an Eddie Kingston babyface turn. It may have well been, but what wasn't a babyface turn was happening after this, because the clock counts down to 5, 4, 3, 2. Eddie covers up Jon Moxley, and then the explosion happens. Now I'm not expecting the ring to fucking blow up and kill everybody in the goddamn arena. I'm not expecting that, but I expected more than what we got. We got sparklers from the ring apron. And we got a big boom in terms of some pyro. And that was it. That's all we got. Fans booed. I sat there like, is that it? Eddie Kingston basically passed out on top of Jon Moxley. Moxley's laid out trying to sell it. They're running into the ring crew's running in, trying to assess the situation. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's it. That's the big... They built this up like it's going to... Like, the commentators sold it. They built it up like at 30 minutes it's going to blow up. It's going to be big, but then that's all we got. A fart in church is what happened here. It was embarrassing. Embarrassing to watch that spot live as a wrestling fan. And I bet for Jon Moxley, Kenny Omega, and all the men involved, it was just as embarrassing. And Eddie Kingston sold this. He sold the blast, which was even more embarrassing because Eddie Kingston, this guy who's supposed to be this hard ass who just saved Jon Moxley, was selling pyro going off like he died. Now, after the show, which we didn't see on air, Jon Moxley said that Kenny Omega can't make a explosive word for shit. But you see, Eddie Kingston is still selling in the background. So now you have two conflicting things in the ring. Jon Moxley, who got the blast covered over him, is okay, but Eddie Kingston is still hurt. From what are you hurt from? It was just terrible. The ending of this show was terrible. And it sucks because it's all people are going to remember about this show now is the ending of the show. I mean, they might remember some of the rest of the matches on the show, but people are going to remember Aew Revolution 2021 for the explosion, the lack of an explosion, and much less of that. Maybe just the match itself, the main event that was built up for, God, like weeks at a time. You had Atsushi Onita on the show at one point via satellite, building this up, and then the match itself wasn't even all that good. I mean, it was a good match, but it wasn't all that crazy. And then you get that shitty ending. They got some damage repair to do. Why can't I say that? Damage repair to do. There we go. Damage repair to do. I won't be watching live because I'll be at work, but I'll be seeing what happens as far as Eddie Kingston, Kenny Omega, and Jon Moxley goes. And that's all I have to say about that, guys. That is Chill Spill episode 37. What do you guys think? Comment down below. Let your boy know. Go follow me on Twitter. Go subscribe to this YouTube channel. Go subscribe to the Tyler Mask YouTube channel. Go follow me on Podbean. Go follow me on TikTok. And that being said, I will see you guys next Wednesday. Peace out, guys.